Okay, we start with our Dhamma talks tonight. We're going to start talking about the consciousness. Your favorite topic. We have gone through somewhat regarding the body and feelings. Since we practice Satipatthana Vipassana, we talk about Satipatthana foundations, body, feelings. So today we start talking about Citta, which means consciousness or mind. Often you use consciousness and mind the same. For me, I use it often the same meaning. Unless I start talking about Abhidhamma, then it have to be more specific. So we try to develop mindfulness of body, which is basically materiality, rupa, then of feelings, which is basically vedana, and finally now we come to citta, consciousness or the mind. Here we come to what's the word for it? We come to a field, an area not so often spoken about. Usually they talk a lot on body, feelings, consciousness, not so much. At least not as a primary object, as a main object of mindfulness. But does not mean that it is not important. In fact, it is more crucial, more critical. You're coming to the main subject involved in the practice. Recently there's a case where there's this place. They don't like people talking about mindfulness of consciousness. And this place is supposed to teach Mahasi meditation. The reason is because the main teacher there doesn't talk about Citta Vipassana for one reason or another. Partly because he's not familiar with it. But then, consciousness is everything that we meet with every day. If not because of the consciousness, we won't be here. We won't be practicing meditation. We won't be studying Buddha Dhamma. Because when you talk about Four Noble Truths, it's all about consciousness. Yeah? Suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the way to the cessation. It's all connected with the consciousness, quite directly. So why? course, it is true that in the beginning, consciousness is something rather incomprehensible by common people, and even by consciousness. Take, for example, one place, this is not in Malaysia, it's all outside Malaysia, Luar Negeri. These people are doing samatha. It's a Tibetan center. They do the jhanas and whatever. Then when I started talking about mind door, they don't know what is the mind door. How can you practice meditation without knowing what is the mind door? How can you practice samatha without knowing what is the mind door? Samatha objects are all mind door objects, eventually. Even vipassana objects are all mind door objects, and you don't know what's the mind door. How come? Take, for example, you go out of the house, what do you use? Which door do you use? You go to the main door. The main door of the house. And ask you, where is the main door of the house? I don't know. You always only go through the back door. Yeah, why? Probably because the boss always locked the main door. And the people there always use the back door or the side door. Is it true? Huh? Sometimes people are like that. Do you use the main door or the side door to go to the house? Main door, isn't it? Huh? Why? It's more direct. Yeah? So to experience the object more directly and deeply, you go directly to the main door. Suppose you want to get something done in your office. You have the boss and you have his subsidiary and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. You want to get things done quickly, where do you go? You go to the boss. Correct, no? You go to all those kaki tangan. You may meet a lot of obstacles. By the time you reach the main boss, you have died. So, you get to the mind door. And the mind door is consciousness itself. But as I said, these things are not so normally spoken about because it is supposed to be rather abstruse for beginners. Like once I was talking with a friend in his apartment. We're talking about meditation. And the house and the wife, a very simple housewife, heard us talking and asked us, what are you talking about? You're talking about meditation. Then she asked, meditation? What is meditation? It's obvious the husband never talked to her about meditation. Although he meditates. So she asked, what is meditation? It's very, very, very direct and practical answer. So meditation is cultivation of the mind. When she heard that, she asked, then what is the mind? I said, well, it's also a very direct and pragmatic question, no? Very direct. I appreciate her for being very direct. What is the mind? That was Very strange. So I have to answer her. Do you get angry? Oh yes, I get angry. I said, that's the mind. Do you get attachment, craving? Yes, that's the mind. So this is a simple way. So it shows you the basic things like craving, anger, delusion, mindfulness. All these mental states all come with the mind, consciousness. So how can you say you don't practice mindfulness on the mind? Can it be possible? How can you do anything without getting to know your boss? People ask me, one day, you go somewhere tomorrow, or on this day, next month, we are going to Indonesia. Will you come with us? So I tell them, wait a while, I want to ask my boss first. Who's your boss? My mind? Who else? So we talk about consciousness. Like in the Dhammapada, the first line of the Dhammapada is about the consciousness. You know Dhammapada? Yes? Who tell me? What's the first line of the Dhammapada? How come you don't know? Anybody here knows? Somebody say mind. Who said that? Who can good is it? Mind is the forerunner of all things. Whatever suffering, happiness, it's because of the mind. Mind is chief. Manopubhagama dhamma, manosetta, manomaya, manasaje padutena, pasati vakata. So, all things done, mind is chief. So, you have to be mindful of our consciousness, the mind. Yeah? Because when we live through life, we do so many things. We said we create a lot of karma. We do good karma, we do bad karma, every moment of our waking hours. Yeah? The moment you're not mindful, you have unwholesome thoughts arising, bad karma. When you're mindful, you have wholesome thoughts arising, good karma. The moment you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and you are not mindful, bad karma for you. When you ever see, hear, smell, taste, touch, you're mindful, good karma for you. See? So one day, how many karma do you do? Innumerables. So, how mindful you are? It depends whether you practice mindfulness or not. You don't practice mindfulness, big store of karma is waiting for you. Not good karma. So you have to be mindful of your consciousness. That means every time you think, you see, you hear, you smell, you touch, you know, you need to be mindful. When you're mindful, then you know that there's mindfulness, and the consciousness is mindful. This is a simple way of saying the mindfulness of consciousness at the 6 sense doors. This is something very basic. Even children can be taught. But because people don't practice mindfulness and people don't look properly at the 6 sense doors, guard the 6 sense doors, very difficult. Old habits. And because they are never taught anything about the mind, so very difficult because they don't know what they're talking about. For example, look at the Zen story of the cow ox herding. You know ox herding? The Zen have a story about a boy looking for a cow. And the cow is wild in the forest, so you have to bring the cow back home. So first, what must he to do? First, he must look for the cow. Before he look for the cow, he must know what the cow looks like. Does the cow look like Professor Koo here? Or does it look like Kung? Or does it look like Yong? Or does it look like Mrs. Ong? Who does it look like? It looks like everybody. Because the mind creates all these things. So you recognize the mind. How is the mind like? The mind is there all the time, as if you don't know. Yeah? But because you look at all other things except the mind, and you don't know. Just like you look at all the other people except your boss. So when your boss is sitting beside you, looking in front of you, you also don't know. So when your boss comes in the office, who are you? You're not supposed to be here. You could get out. Actually, it's your boss. So you get into trouble. So, the mind, consciousness. Yeah? So now you know what the mind is? Of course, it's the knowing mind. The knowing. The funny thing is, there's so many theories about the mind. And yet, they don't really describe the mind in so simple words. Take, for example, an ordinary person who doesn't know anything. You tell him what is the mind. Can you tell him? Mr. Koo, Professor Koo, if one of your students come and ask you, Professor, what is the mind? How are you going to tell him? Knowing. Okay. Will he understand? He should, isn't it? But for ordinary person, asking what is the mind, difficult to explain. Now you look at nowadays everybody goes back to science. You look like a Chinese expert. Are you a Chinese expert? Mr. Kang is there? You're expert in Chinese, you know a lot of Chinese literature. You know, you read Wen Yan Wen or not? That means you're expert. Nowadays, you know a little bit, you're already expert. Because nobody else knows about it. I don't know anything, So, if a Chinese asks you, what is seeing, how do you explain? How would you answer him? Okay, what's the phrase? Not abiding at anything, then the sin is the sin. That one goes to Zen already. That was Chanyi. I'm telling you about ordinary person, like Teju. Teju, or extraordinary. How many years of meditation? Suppose a small boy come and ask you, what is seeing? You don't call him nothing abiding, he wouldn't understand, he get even more confused. So not easy, you know. That's why sometimes I go to different places, different countries, I ask them, what is mind, what is consciousness? And they start telling me about of different things, you know, depending on the culture. Yeah. Once I went to this Zen monastery in China. I don't know what, I forgot what that monastery is called. It is, you know, Matsu. One of the Zen patriarchs, Matsu. Is not the fisherman Matsu. Ask them, what is the mind, the present moment? They start talking, arguing. The idea is, vipassana is when you approach the object, look directly of it and see what is that. And you watch it with direct mindful experience. This is that. Not what you think, not what the book says. But directly. Say, what is pain? You know what's pain? I think, pain or not? Pain, that is pain. Okay? So, one day there was this headmaster. His name is called Mr. Ong. Okay? And he's known to be a very fierce headmaster. Headmaster Ong. So who is Headmaster Ong? I don't know who is Mr. Ong. Then he brought him to Headmaster Ong. Mr. Ong said, what do you want? This is Headmaster Ong. Now I know. Okay. Have you been a headmaster before, Mr. Ong? No. Don't worry, we're not talking about you. We're talking about headmaster. Oh. So, direct experience, consciousness. Bring you first to watch the consciousness. And for example, in my first meditation retreat in Penang Meditation Center, I told you before, I was watching rising and falling. So my teacher, Long Po, at the time came, interview, asked me, what are you watching? I'm watching rising and falling. He said, you're watching the mind. Really? I watched, yeah, I saw my mind there. Yes, I'm watching the mind. So it's quite direct. When I saw the mind, I saw the rising and falling, I saw his mind and matter, direct. No? The first object of vipassana. You know it clearly, it becomes the first insight knowledge. Very direct. No need to beat around the bush too much. Nowadays, people do things, they beat around the bush. You know? Like the Indians, to touch the nose, they must put a hand around us and touch the nose. So the mind, the normal people who study science and they go into psychology, they go into psychiatry, you know, they learn about the mind. But they learn about the mind for the sake of healing the mental sickness. They have all the theories of what it is, no? But imagine that psychology is very recent. I think it's within 100 years. With Carl Jung. You know Carl Jung? No, not Freud. Sigmund Freud. You know Sigmund Freud? How come you don't know him? Anybody know Sigmund Freud? Of course, not when he's alive. Before that, they didn't believe in the mind. Before that, when a person is mentally ill, they say he's possessed by the devil. There's a place called Bethlehem House. Bethlehem is where the place where Jesus was born. There's a house, we call the mad house. And then whoever is really crazy, they put them all there. They lock them up in chains. Why? Because they are possessed by the devil. So he's screaming at people. So you can imagine the suffering there. Some say it's worse than hell. You go to the madhouse. Very cruel. But that's what it is in their beliefs. Huh? Later, there are these people who are more sane, more humane. And so you have this thing called psychology is coming up, and so on, and so on, and so on. And even now, it is still at this infancy stage. In a lot of cases, they still use a lot of drugs, electric currents, so on. They do a lot of psychotherapy. So I asked one of these doctors. He said there are 3 types of people. One type of people, they cannot be healed. They're gone case. Second one, with medicine, they can be healed. The third one, without medicine, also they can be healed. Probably you don't think medicine, but you learn psychotherapy. You say a lot of expert psychiatrists, psychotherapists, you can deal with you. Because this must go under proper training and so on, and not just any Tom, Dick and Harry, not just any Mary, Daisy or Cleopatra. Because you go, these funny things in your mind, you go outside, all the amma, auntie and all those things, all those people, all those will give you all sorts of advice. Some ask you to go and take what? Panadol, some which is not so bad, it's harmless. Some ask you to take don't know what herbs, this herb, that herb, This is wrong. If somebody is crazy, asks you for medicine, what would you give him?
See the doctor.
This is what you call see, this is very good advice. Some people may ask you, must eat more of pig's brain. Yeah? Why? Because people are not good in brain, eat pig's brain, correct? Correct or not? Yes, this is a recommendation. So all these you see, Dr. Quacks, dark doctor, wholesome, good intentions, everything, but this type of thing you have to be careful. Of course, there's one case where not too different from all those early Western ideas. So for no more, mad already, so must be hantu, possessed by devil, charm and so on. So must look for the bomo. Well, it's not entirely a bad idea. You have nowhere else to go. Sometimes this bomo, they got psychology, because they deal with so many of these chronic cases, and so sometimes they know how to deal with you. I tell you a very strange incident, This is Penang long time ago. There was this crazy fellow who was sick a long time ago, mad, and then it seems that he was charmed and things like that, according to the story. So this lady from the temple asked me what to do. The time, what can so said for Chama, the best medicine for it is the 黑狗片, you know. You know 黑狗片? It's the genitals of the dark dog. The dog must be black, every black, even the tongue is black. And he takes off that penis, genitals in the midnight. And then they use that to do anti-charm medicine. But nowadays I cannot get that. I said, but she found something. She found the heikopian. But it's so long ago that it's remaining just dust. And she let the person drink. Overnight she became okay. It's a true story. Overnight she became well again from her madness. What are you going to say? Want me to call? So you cannot simply say all these things, no? There are certain things you don't understand. But you don't take it unless you are really desperate. To say, oh, you're going to die tomorrow anyway, so you eat this. Try and after you're going to die tomorrow, see. So we don't simply laugh at other people. It's all delusion. But again, we have to admit there are certain things even doctors cannot cure. I asked the doctor, you can cure everything. No, I cannot cure it. I'm not God. So, you pray to God now. See if God want to listen to you or not. Yeah. Last time, I had my mother's family in Malacca. I forgot what street already. They got a KKR. They always jump on trance, Tiao Tang. So when Tiao Tang, you prescribe medicine. The Hu Tao, okay, you eat. So we always go. Our thing is to get blessing. So we go, what happens is they got a holy chop, stamp. Okay, turn around, pop, our back. Anyway, I didn't believe in it either, but to avoid all those nagging from my mother and grandmother and all those, just to see the medium was so scared, He goes, and after that, boom, But probably a lot of people get cured by that. Maybe because they believe. When they believe, they have the faith, maybe it works to some extent. We call it what? A placebo effect. So anyway, but generally a lot of those causes you can find, but the key of all the causes of your suffering, the root of all your causes, Mr. Ong, the root is what? Your mind, your consciousness. All the craving, anger, delusion, all are rooted in the consciousness. The consciousness is and its mental states. It is the way out of suffering, and it is the cause of all your, root cause of all your problems. Four Noble Truths. So, that is the consciousness. And to understand consciousness, you have to have a very general, for beginners. I'm talking to beginners. When I talk to beginners, I imagine I'm talking to children. Children, budak, not anak. Small kids, small babies, I'm hopeless. I cannot communicate with small babies. Then when you ask people like Mrs. Onga, and then you have to ask all those mama here. Emilia, have you got children? You can ask her. So you know how to talk to them, and then they can listen to you. How you talk to them? You must talk to them nicely. And if they don't listen to you, you have to shout at them sometimes. So similarly, you want to watch consciousness. First you must know what consciousness is. It's the knowing mind. For start, you differentiate two minds. The knowing mind and the noting mind. We're talking about meditators. The knowing mind is the mind that knows. Is behind every knowing. It's always at the back. The noting mind is the mind that is more active. This is rising, this is falling, this right step, left step. And there's the noting mind. In the noting mind is the mind that is more active. And so the mental state, the cetasika, Chinese says sing so, is in the forefront. The knowing mind is at the background usually. There's the consciousness, the citta. Chinese say sing se. One sing se, one sing so. Sing se is like the boss. Sing so is like his right hand man. So you must get to know these two first. In the beginning, in actual fact, you cannot differentiate these two. But to be able to, you get an understanding of mind, consciousness. First you know these two come together. But it's different. One is actively noting this is this, that is that, or identifying, registering this is this, that is that. Then it becomes sanya, perception. But the knowing behind the perception, the knowing behind the noting is the consciousness. You know? This is as simple as you can. You still cannot, then at least you have to differentiate between mind and matter. Matter is materiality, rupa. Earth, water, fire, wind, element are materiality. Rupa, safa, Chinese say. Sound, eye object, nose object, tongue object, touch object are materiality. Safa, they are objects of the mind. Yeah, materiality. Okay? Materiality and mind are two different things. Materiality doesn't know anything. Mind has an object, he knows something. Okay? Like earth element, hardness. Does earth element know anything? It does not. It's just hard. That's the earth element. The earth element, you know what is the earth element? Yes, of course I know. I'm the earth element. And then there's not the earth element. There's your hantu. There's not got a mind there. But the hardness is just hardness. That's its nature. It doesn't know anything. But the mind has an object. The mind knows something. How do you feel? I feel good. Feeling good. Good is the object. So the mind knows the good feeling. But not you, no, you are a different thing. You are a concept. Lunch is a content. Person is a concept. So do you know rising and falling? In reality, you don't know rising and falling. It's not possible for you to know rising and falling because you are just a concept. This one is a bit difficult to be for newcomers to understand. It's an idea. Take for example, you fall asleep and you deep sleep. Where are you? you, when you fall asleep and deep sleep, where are you? Huh? You're nowhere. Huh? Somebody has father has Alzheimer's disease. And she was very sad. She came and asked me. This is in New Zealand. My father got Alzheimer's disease. He can't recognize me. He doesn't know who he is. What? Why? Where is my father? You see, your father is Sudha. Of course, I didn't tell her that. She cannot understand Malay. Your father is not there anymore. Tada lagi. But whatever that gave rise to him is still there. There's a consciousness. The consciousness, the bhavanga citta, whatever citta that identifies with him, is still there. But the connection to the I, what is the I, who am I, is no longer there. Because it's just a concept. The concept doesn't know anything. The concept of I. For example, there's a concept of what? What is a concept? A name is a concept. Does the name know anything? Does the name Ong Tiao Eng knows who is Ong Tiao Eng? It doesn't know. It's just a name. So it's the mind that knows. The knowing mind is the consciousness. When the knowing mind does other things, like to feel and to get angry, to be mindful, when the knowing mind does all these things, then we call it a mental state, cetasika. Chinese sing so. But the knowing mind itself is a consciousness. So, but remember, the knowing mind is not you. No? Okay? Sometimes you say, I don't know, but the knowing mind is there. For example, you are in deep sleep. You wake up, do you know what is in deep sleep like? I don't know. But the knowing mind is there. The knowing mind knows its object. What does it know? The deep sleep mind knows its object. The object of the bhavanga citta, life continuum, which is something from the past life. The bhavanga citta. So this will give you some kind of idea. You can't understand this. I cannot make it simpler. It's as simple as I can get. But as long as you know the difference between mind and matter, okay, that's number one. If you can differentiate between the mind and mental states, the knowing mind and the noting mind, you can see the difference. It's very good. Then the next thing you need to know is the mindfulness mind and the no mindfulness mind. Because you know whether you're mindful and you're not mindful. And these are key understanding experiences you should understand to be able to meditate properly, and especially when you come to vipassana. Remember? Mindfulness, no mindfulness, you must know. When you're mindful, then there's the knowing mind with mindfulness and the knowing mind without mindfulness. Mindfulness is a mental state. Knowing, no mindfulness like delusion is also a mental state. The knowing mind that comes with mindfulness is consciousness, mindful consciousness. The knowing mind that does not come with mindfulness is deluded consciousness. Okay? This one. Then after that, you know the knowing, the mind and the matter. The knowing, you watch a rising, falling. Rising, falling is a wind element. The wind element is matter. It doesn't know anything. It's just tension. And the mind that knows it is the mind. Is the mind the tension? The mind is not the tension. There can be a tense mind, but there's tension itself is not material, physical tension. It's not mind. Okay? This you must know. So you can, because the basic object of vipassana is mind and matter. That means you know it as the mind following the object. Okay? And then finally, the most important one is the mind and the object. The mind and object are two different things. Is the mind the object? No. No. When you're looking at, let's say, Mr. You're looking at Kim Fong. You're looking at Kim Fong. Kim Fong is the object. Is the mind Kim Fong? No. The mind is looking at an object called Kim Fong. Even Kim Fong looks at herself in the mirror, also is the object. It's not Kim Fong. Kim Fong is a concept. The mind is not a concept. Okay? Then the mind and object. Okay. Now the object can be many things. The whole universe is the object of the mind. Then the mind door is a different thing. The mind door is the bhavanga citta, the life continuum. So, to make it very simple, there's a basic mind, the bhavanga citta, life continuum, the basic mind. Like the computer, you have a basic program. Right? What's the basic program? Mr. Computer. What's the basic program? No, the what you call the word of when you fix in the computer software, the main software.
Bill Gates software. Bill Gates software, Microsoft.
Bill Gates software.
Microsoft.
Okay, Microsoft. Okay, you get it, Microsoft. When the software, when you tick, the program will come, the basic program. The basic program, there's nothing much, there's just the what you call the home page. Is it? The screen. The screen, the screen. And when you have the screen, the basic program installed, then you can learn to play with it. And then you have access to Windows, to what? To all those things there. Google, to, I don't know where. And go to operating system. Okay, so you have all that. Yeah. So the basic software computer is the bhavanga citta, life continuum. The Chinese, they use the alaye, so, but it's not exactly the same. The IS has different, talk about slightly different things from the Theravada bhavanga citta, but it's close to it. And once you have that, then you can play with your computer. Yeah, you have all the access, all the programs. Which program you want to go? I want to go into gallery, eye program. I can see many things. The ear program, I want to listen to music. You go to the ear program. I want to go to nose program. Sorry, like your computer got no nose program. It doesn't produce the smell for you to smell. Taste program, it doesn't have any taste program. You cannot taste. Taste, you've got to go and makan in the restaurant. But you can show you all the food. Then your saliva will come out. And the mind door, all other things. So in this way, you must start with the base, the mind door, the bhavanga citta. And then you go to all the sense doors, the 6 sense doors. Once you get 6 sense doors, you get all the different objects. You go to the eye door, you see a lot of things. When you see a lot of things, but it doesn't speak, You just see eye object. Here, you hear all the sounds. Then the smell, taste, the smell, then the taste, touch, tangible objects. And the mind is everything under the sun. So, it gives you access. That is normal functioning. You have a complete program. But some people program are not so complete because faulty program. That means they are born blind, they don't see. Some are deaf. Sometimes you can see at the beginning, after that it doesn't work out. Koyak. Some they can hear, a lot of people now hearing getting bad. Mr. Tan, can you hear me? So it's not so bad yet. A lot of people cannot hear me properly. So after a while it gets a bit out of function, and then after that it doesn't work anymore. So even the body also after a while it doesn't work anymore. You cannot walk anymore. After that you become paralyzed. But still something in the body called the heart base is working. And that's why it's still alive. If the heart base is koyak, goodbye. Wong phi hong sao tong. So finished. You see whatever takes over. See your successor. See what karma takes over. You can become the boss. Because the boss already koyak, finished. So another boss takes over. So, but what is important here is once you get the access, what you're going to do with it. So you see the object, what happens? You respond. You see something nice, I want. You see something nice, I don't want. No? And you see something neither nice or not nice, you say, boo, boo. Don't know what to do. So confused, undecided, perplexed. And so similarly, when we see nice object, attachment can come. And so you have bad karma. When you see ugly objects, you get repulse, aversion may come out. And neutral objects, boring. You get delusion coming out. So instead of that, you do mindful. When nice, also you're mindful. Not nice, also you're mindful. Neutral, also you're mindful. You're mindful, your mind is peaceful, your mind is clear, your mind is calm. So you have good karma. When you're more and more mindful, it becomes stronger. So you have concentrated mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness sharp, you get a very sharp mindfulness. So it's insight consciousness. So the quality of your karma improves because of the way you respond to it. That's why mindfulness is very important. And the way you practice mindfulness is very important. You practice mindfulness just for calmness, then you get samatha. Practice mindfulness for insight, you have to sharpen it. So that's why you practice meditation. That's when you really follow the mind as it works. At first you cannot follow the mind directly. You have to follow the object. That's why you start with mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feelings, When you have mindfulness of body and feelings, continuous, complete, and then you can follow the consciousness. Then you can do Cittanupassana. Okay, we stop here. This is basic, I hope you understand. You can understand? Yeah. Okay, good, can understand. Inform can understand. Something. You listen so many times already, talking this thing so many times. Mr. Tan, boleh faham? Huh? Can you understand tonight's talk? 60% is banyak pandai loh. Huh? You listen to the tape and then you may slowly get 70%, 75%. For 100% you must practice more, that's for sure.
Tomorrow when I listen to the YouTube, then maybe I can get it more.
Yes, correct. These things you have to listen many times. So tomorrow can become a little bit more complicated. You can understand 60%, not bad. Tomorrow you may understand 30%. Which is also very good. Because many of these things comes with practical experience. You get if you cannot understand, you get an idea, a general idea. Talk mind, you go back, you start thinking, what is the mind? Then already you sudah belajar sikit. Yeah, because you talk of mind, you think, what is the mind? Is this the mind? Is that the mind? The next interview, I experience, is it the mind? That means sikit sudah masuk. It's already working on you. Because it's basically experience.